Okay, I'm back. I didn't know how the timer went, and it cut me off. I had about 6 slides left, so let's finish this up. Lewis and Clark expedition. We had the Louisiana Purchase. We need to explore all this vast territory. We saw this. Okay, or hopefully you. This was at the end of the last one. We have so much more land. Yada yada yada. Holy cow! Manifest destiny. All right. Hopefully you watched the last one. If not, watch the last one. Okay. Now. This is confusing, so let me just kind of break this down, all right? Britain and France, they hate each other. Now they don't, but, we've seen this, okay? French-Indian War, American Revolution. France comes and helps us just to kind of screw over the British, okay? They don't like each other, okay? Now, result of the French Revolution, okay, we have Napoleon, stuff's going on in Europe. France is expanding, they're messing with the British, they're fighting, okay? If you want to know more, take AP Euro with Miss Miller, all right? Now, what happens is the Americans are trying to trade with both of them, okay? I mean, New England's still very much vibrant commerce economy. And what happens is Britain passes something called this Orders in Council, okay? And it blockades every European port that France has control over. Okay, now France has control over a lot of ports with Napoleon expanding so much. Now, what do you think France is going to do? Okay, Napoleon in France, they issue these decrees that are going to restrict trade with anybody that's trading with the British. Okay, so now the Americans are kind of stuck in the middle. All right, they can't really trade with either of them because they're getting their ships taken over. The ports are shut down. Okay, but we're stuck between two parents that are fighting, and we're kind of the little stepchild in the middle. All right, nice analogy, huh? Okay, now what's happening is France and Britain are seizing our ships, taking our stuff, actually kidnapping our merchants, which I'll talk about in a second, but we're losing a lot of money, okay? And we're going to see this time and time again. When American ships are messed with, stuff goes down, okay? So now you can see all the Americans are angry with the French. Okay, there's other factors why they're even more mad at the British, which will lead into the War of 1812, which will happen in 1812. We'll get to that. Okay, so what they were doing was this. It's called impressment. Okay, the British Navy is not an all-inclusive vacation. Okay, what they would do is the British Navy would come onto one of our ships. Okay, and impress the men to joining the British in the British Army and the British Navy. Okay, you could see they had a lot of deserters in the British Army and Navy, so they were doing this as a way to almost kidnap a lot of Americans and forcing them to fight for the British. Okay, they've been doing this for a long time. Now that we are Americans and not British, we get a little more upset. Okay, you could see life in the British Navy, a living hell. Okay, very nasty, very poor conditions, and they're literally kidnapping people to join. All right, I mean, it sounds absurd. I mean, we have an all-voluntary military that you'd actually kidnap someone to serve in the military. Okay, now there's going to be another situation with an American ship and a British ship. There were you have the Leopold and the Chesapeake. There were 4 deserters from the British that were thought to be on these ships, and the British see us off the coast in the Atlantic Ocean and say, hey, we want to get our men back. And the Americans say, no, screw you guys, you can't do it. And they fire on our ships. And this is just increasing the tension between the British and the Americans, which 1812 will boil over. Okay. Now, Jefferson thinks, hey, they need us more than we need them, so screw them. Let's just, cut them off. Okay. And what Jefferson is going to do, and remember, he's not big on trade. He thinks, hey, yeoman farmer, we can take care of ourselves. We don't need anybody else. Okay, passes something called the Embargo Act. All right, and what this does is it outlaws trade with all European nations. Okay, that's all of our trade. Okay, import exports cuts us off. We decide this. We think they're going to come crawling back. They need us. We're this beacon of, we have so much to offer. Doesn't work. All right, complete and utter failure. All right. Now, what it does is it cripples the New England economy as far as trade goes. It increases smuggling. Okay, there's a shortage of markets for the southern farmers who need the foreign markets to trade stuff with. So pretty much it makes everyone mad. Okay, which understandably. Now they're going to pass some other laws. The Embargo Act will be repealed. They'll pass something called the Non-Intercourse Act. I know, sounds inappropriate, which you can trade with any nation except France and Britain, which are the two countries that we want to trade with. Okay, this doesn't work very well either. Okay, you can see our exports takes a big old dump. Obviously, we're not exporting anything. Cuts it almost in half. Well, it cuts it quite a bit. From about 110 million to just around 20. Okay, you can see this. Okay, you can see the snapping turtle is the embargo. Okay, they're trying to smuggle into these British, because we still do it. I mean, we just get around it. I mean, we're industriousness. We're hustlers. Okay, and later they're going to pass something called Macon's Bill Number 2. Okay, I'm not sure what number 1 is, but number 2 is Macon's Bill Number 2. And what that says is we will trade with Britain if we can shut off France, and we'll trade with France if we can. We'll shut off from Britain. So essentially, we lay this carrot out and we say, hey, Britain, France, whichever one of you takes the carrot first, we'll embargo the other country. Okay, seems pretty, I guess, ingenious. It doesn't work. Okay, Napoleon says, "Hey, well, yeah, we'll trade with you, and we'll cut out. You can cut off with Britain." Napoleon, takes the stick and then kind of dupes Madison, and then we cut off trade completely with Great Britain. Makes them very angry, and will lead into the War of 1812, which will be our next session. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death. This is my first time doing this. It's going to be kind of weird, but at least I had a good outfit on today. All right. Take care. Have a good night.